Hello, boxing fans around the world, and welcome back to Talk and Fight, another episode of Boxing News Today. Courtesy of our friends across the pond at boxing247.com. These stories coming at you fast and furious, Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll start off with a result. Musa Yamak defeats Serhii Huliakevich for the WBF International title. And this is out of Garching, Germany. The vacant WBF International Light Heavyweight title was on the line here, and Musa Yamak won the vacant WBF International Light Heavyweight title on Saturday night, November 13th in Garching, Germany, which is just outside of Munich. The 30-year-old local man defeated Serhii Huliakevich by technical knockout when the Belarusian suffered an injured elbow and didn't come out for round 8. Up until the end, it had been a relatively evenly contested bout, but Yamak appeared to be the stronger man and edging ahead. The new international champion, who won the WBF Eurasia title in 2019, improved his professional record to 8-0 with 8 knockouts. Huliakevich, who's age 40, a pro since 2003 and former European champion and world title challenger, is now 43, 14-2 with 17 knockouts. Elsewhere, we see an update to a fight upcoming on November 20th. That's this weekend. Jonas in, Dubois out due to illness. Former Team GB member Tasha, Miss GB Jonas, who's 9-2 with 7 knockouts, will make her boxer debut at the SSE Arena in Wembley this Saturday, November 20th. Jonas, who made history as the first female boxer to represent Britain at Olympic Games, was recently announced last week as the newest addition to boxers' world-class stable of female fighters, alongside such standouts as Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields, and Ebony Jones. Olympic heroine Caroline Dubois had also been due to appear on this Saturday's card and had been the subject of huge media interest ahead of what would have been her professional debut. But she had been forced to withdraw due to illness and will be rescheduled to a future boxer event. Jonas, the former WBA International Super Featherweight champion, is looking to go on a world title run in 2022 as she prepares for her own debut under the boxer banner this Saturday. Her opponent will be announced at a press conference taking place in Boxport, Wembley tomorrow. There we go. In other women's boxing news, a few comments out of Carly Reis, who's going up against our own Canadian friend who's been on the Talking Fight numerous times, Jessica Camara, in a fight that's scheduled to take place this Friday night at SNHU Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire. Callie Reis says there's no chance of her looking past dangerous Jessica Camara as they clash for the WBA and vacant WBO World Super Lightweight titles on Friday night. As I said, at the SNHU Arena in Manchester. That's in New Hampshire. Reis, who's 18-7-1 with 5 knockouts, was in London and working on the DAZN broadcast as Chantal Cameron booked her spot for a 2022 undisputed fight at 140 pounds with a victory at the O2 Arena over Mary McGee. And now Reis and Camara, who's 8-2, battle to meet the Briton for all the marbles. The 35-year-old, who wrote and starred in a feature film called Catch the Fair One, is eager to land the undisputed title in quick double time, as she looks to achieve as much as possible in the game before pursuing more work in the film industry. She says Jessica hasn't been at 140 pounds or in the rankings, as she's been at 130 pounds, 135 pounds. But she's coming in off an excellent win against Heather Hardy, one of the pioneers of women's boxing in this era, whose only loss was to Amanda Serrano, who's one of the best to do it ever. She's dangerous. I know that. She's improved from her loss to Melissa St. Ville, too, so I don't overlook any opponent. And this is boxing. Anything can happen. I commentated on her last 2 fights and give huge respect to her for stepping up and taking this opportunity, as there's lots of fighters out there that want to pick and choose fights and not step up. But Jessica has stepped up, so respect to her for that, and she's here for a reason. She wants to become undisputed too. For all the remaining portion of that interview, please go along to boxing247.com. We move on to Jack Massey and Bilal Lagouni fight taking place at the Bolton Whites Hotel in England on November 26. Rob Rimmer was always going to be a top boxing trainer, starts the article. Rob is the son of one of the UK's best-known coaches, Bobby Rimmer. and has been around boxing gyms, great fighters, and big fights for as long as he can remember. The Manchester man who boxed as an amateur and was also on the professional books of both Oldham Athletic and Bury FC, has trained a number of fighters at championship level, but will be in the corner for his biggest night of his boxing on November 26, when his fighter, Jack Massey, competes for the International Boxing IBO world title. And it'll be a hard fight against Belgium's Bilal Lagon at the sold-out Bolton White's Hotel, and to be shown on Fight Zone. Good for him. Massey has lost just once in 19 outings, a contentious 2019 British title defeat to highly rated Londoner Richard Riakporhe. Since then, the 28-year-old has gone back to the winning track with a brace of wins, including picking up the International Boxing Federation European belt with a stoppage victory in his last fight in July. And there's a great interview, by the way, on Boxing 247. I encourage you to go along to their website and have a read through the remainder of his quotes. Let's move on, though, to the Australian pocket rocket, Sarah Higginson, who returns to the ring December 3rd. Australian boxer Sarah Higginson, 3-0-1, who has already won the biggest fight of her life by knockout, but it was a tough 12-rounder before she threw the final punch, and she had to find a power within herself she didn't know existed. The 34-year-old lost 70 kilograms in 11 months after making a vow to her family to lose weight, and she's now a state and Australian champion boxer about to fight for another national title. My dad, Stephen, passed away because of diabetes and had been very sick for a long time. The day he passed away in ICU, I stepped back and looked at my sister and my brother, who were both very fit, and I was size 18 and 120 kilograms. And I was happy. I didn't care what people thought of me, and I still don't care what people think of me. But I did it because I didn't want to put my family through the same pain. Not that I had diabetes, but I could see it written on the wall because it was in my family. That was 4.5 years ago. Higginson's first step was to take 3 months off work and focus on fitness and diet. She says, my dad brought us up like workhorses. You don't stop till you get to your goal, she said. So I just kept going and going and going. She joined a boxing gym, but wouldn't do the classes, preferring to train on her own. She says, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't want to partner up with anyone and make them feel uncomfortable or feel like I was holding them back. After adding strength and conditioning to her routine, she conjured up the courage to attend her first boxing class and freaked out. The guy I did pads with started to get a bit angry and frustrated. I dropped my gloves and walked right out, she said. Thankfully, she returned. It was hard work, training twice a day and not letting anyone distract me, she said. So Higginson's had 15 amateur fights, 13 wins and 2 losses by split decision before she teamed up with Dale Big Rigs Phillips at Big Rig Gym in Malaga. And through the sponsorship of her main employer, Forest Field-based recruiting agency Skill Hire, turned professional in 2020. At 155 centimeters, she fights under the nickname Pocket Rocket, and she lives with a moniker of 3 wins and a draw and a debut on her 4 pro fights. Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin on January 1st, coming at you from Hollywood, Florida. Taking place at the Hard Rock Hotel, live from the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. The new year will kick off with a heavyweight bang as 5 exciting heavyweight matchups take center stage on a jam-packed Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view night on New Year's Day, live, as I said, from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. The main event will see top heavyweight Luis King Kong Ortiz take on former world champion Charles Martin in a 12-round IBF heavyweight title eliminator. In the co-main event, unbeaten rising heavyweight star Frank the Cuban Flash Sanchez will square off against Puerto Rican Olympic Carlos Negron in a 10-round attraction. We'll also see heavyweight contenders Johnny Rice and Michael Coffey battle in a 10-round match. Former title challenger Gerald El Gallo Negro Washington in a 10-round showdown against Turkish Olympian Ari Eren Demizian. And unbeaten Victor Faust facing Lago Kiljaz in a 10-round attraction to open up the pay-per-view event. Elsewhere, Andrew Moloney focused on becoming a 2-time champion. Andrew Moloney, focused on becoming a 2-time champion of the world, gets ready for his ring return on December 9th. Moloney, who stood out as an amateur prior to an excellent professional career, the former world champion looks to bounce back from his American trilogy with Joshua Franco in formidable fashion. The Australian opened up about his emotions prior to the ring return. Moloney said, I'm motivated. That's the best way to describe myself right now. I'm as driven as I've ever been to become champion of the world for the second time. December 9th, ain't no picnic. And I don't want one to be honest. I wanted a real fight, and that's what I got. An opponent with a good record fought for world championships was coming to fight, and that's what I wanted, and that's why I lived in the gym after being let out of quarantine. I have to show people I'm still improving. I want to thank my manager, Tony Tolch, Top Rank, Nolan Promotions, and Dragonfire Boxing for getting me on this event. It's a big Australian event with 2 shows back-to-back, and that I'm headlining the first night. I'm excited to be part of it and planning on stealing the show. Moloney still sits high in multiple sanctioning bodies' world ratings and outlined his plans to secure a world title belt. He said, I have to produce a top-class performance in Newcastle, New South Wales, to be in with a chance of landing the Ioka fight. I deeply respect him as a fighter, and my call-out is a respectful one. However, I'm willing to travel to Japan to face him. But first things first, December 9th is a stop on the road to the world title, and I'm going to remind people who Andrew Moloney is. Good for him. Elsewhere, Dan Azeez and Hosea Burton face off at a final press conference. Dan Azeez and Hosea Burton and Tasha Jones all had plenty to say as they took part in their final press conference ahead of returning to the ring this weekend. The fighters are all in action on Boxer event that takes place at SSE Wembley Arena on Saturday, which will be broadcast on Sky Sports. Azeez, who's 14-0 with 9 knockouts, meets Burton, who's 26-2 with 12 knockouts for the vacant British light heavyweight title. While female star Jonas, 9-2-1, with 7 knockouts, also returns. And here's what they all had to say at the press conference. Azeez said, everybody who knows me, I've worked diligently and constantly. I've never been stop-start. I've always been training and working hard. I've gone the traditional route. I won the 7th area, won the English and defended a few times, and now I've got a big opportunity to fight for the Lonsdale belt, so I'll take it with both hands. Burton said, it's a must-win fight for me. I've waited 5 years to have this chance again to fight for the British title. I felt I should have had the chance straight away after losing it, but it's here now, and I get to win and become a 2-time British champion. Jonas said, I've spoken for a while about wanting to be active. Well, I got this chance, and when all came back, I took it. I'm happy to be here, happy not to be in the studio criticizing other boxers' performances and instead working on my own. The big fight nights are what I want to be involved in, and it's great to share this platform with some of the most talented boxers in the country and to see where the journey goes. Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez says RamirezBivol now has nowhere to run. Frustrated by RamirezBivol's silence, even after Team Zurdo and Golden Boy Promotions sent the WBA light heavyweight world super champion a legitimate contract offer, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez now has a clear path to his first world title shot in the light heavyweight division. Ramirez, who's 42-0 with 28 knockouts, has been matched against Yuneski the Monster Gonzalez, who's 21-3 with 17 knockouts, on December 18th in San Antonio, Texas, in the official WBA light heavyweight title eliminator to determine Bivol's mandatory challenger. Ramirez said, I'm excited to end the year with an eliminator bout. This is the path I've been planning for, and I'm very humbled and honored to be in this position. The WBA is a great organization, and I appreciate Mr. Gilberto Mendoza for allowing me to be in this position. Bivol, who's 18-0 with 11 knockouts, expressed his desire to fight Ramirez before and after the latter knocked out Sullivan Barrera, 22-3 with 14 knockouts, this past July. Suddenly, though, Matchroom Boxing Eddie Hearns claimed that Bivol would instead fight John Ryder next month in the United Kingdom, and then target WBA and WBC super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, who, as you know, is 56-1-2 with 38 knockouts at either 168 or 175 pounds. I was surprised when Bivol turned down the fight we offered because it was something I thought he wanted. I know he's a tough warrior and he aspires to be the best, which is why I was surprised. He publicly called me out and that he was ready. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case in the end. Again, in boxing, this seems like a common scenario where a fighter barks and barks, but you can't back it up when it's time to fight. With this fight versus Gonzalez in place, Bivol has nowhere to run, and he will eventually have to face me. I'm not sure why Bivol thinks Canelo will face him in the near future. The probability of that happening within the next 3 fights is very, very low for him. Sadly, I think he's just the cannon fodder for this scenario. The first Mexican to capture the world super middleweight title, Zurdo, has waited too long to risk his first world title opportunity in the 175-pound division to look past the dangerous Gonzalez. Ramirez and Gonzalez, respectively, are rated number 3 and number 4 by the WBA, and their 12-round main event will headline a Golden Boy promoted card to be streamed on DAZN. And for my last piece of the day, let me take you over to Joseph JoJo Diaz. He's going to be facing world champion Devin the Dream Haney, who's 26-0 with 50 knockouts on December 4th at the MGM Grand, that's Garden Arena, to be shown on DAZN. And here's what JoJo Diaz had to say. I'm very, very dangerous at this weight. My preparation has been phenomenal, both physically and mentally. I'm ready. I'm prepared for this moment in my life. I feel like this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm not going to take it for granted. Devin Haney is one hell of a fighter. Don't get me wrong. He has great tools. He has great boxing skill, but so do I. I'm a 2012 Olympian. I'm two-weight division champion. I fought multiple guys that have experience inside the professional ranks, and I just know that this experience will be showcased come December 4th. I'm really looking forward to putting on a great performance for myself, my family, my son, and all the fight fans. Come December 4th, I'll be crowned and the new world champion. I was already pushing for both of those fights, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I just wanted to make the best fight for myself, and whatever opportunity was created was big for my moment. I really had to capitalize on it. So now that, unfortunately, Ryan Garcia ended up pulling out due to hand injury, Devin Haney was right on the list, and he is the next victim. I am glad he is able to accept the fight, and we agreed on terms, and here we are fighting December 4th. Thank you very much, fight fans, for joining me for another episode of Boxing News Today. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.